A touching tribute today ahead of the WGC Bridgestone Invitational, the tournament, unveiling a new plaque commemorating Arnold Palmer on a bridge near the 16th green. Palmer won 3 times at Firestone Country Club between 1957 and 1967. In 1960, he tripled the 16th, called it a monster of a par 5. It is time now for the Comcast Business Edge. World number 1 Dustin Johnson is not only the defending champion this week at Firestone, he also won the last 2 World Golf Championship events held earlier this season. So with that in mind, Tripp, who has the edge to not only stop DJ's streak, but get their first career WGC victory?
Well, if we take a look at the top 15 in the world, there are several notable players on there that have yet to garner a WGC victory, and this list is quite distinguished. Of course, some of these players trying to garner their first major championships as well. Jordan Spieth, Sergio Garcia, no problem. But the guy I'm speaking of is a guy on that list that doesn't have a major or a WGC yet, and I'm speaking of Rickie Fowler. Why do I like Rickie Fowler here? Well, the ball striking this year has been dead on solid. Week to week, it's been very good. Part of the reasons why he's played so respectably in the majors so far. 9th in gaining strokes with his approach shots and 11th in gaining strokes from the tee all the way to the green. Here he is in Memorial in a tie for second display. Great iron shot after great iron shot. Rickie Fowler is close to doing some great things week to week. By that I mean winning with regularity like he did a couple of years ago. 6 of the last 7 winners have been top 10 in gaining strokes on the greens. Rickie Fowler's 3rd in putting this year. And by the way, this were the toughest greens to hit in regulation last year on the entire PGA Tour. So when everybody's scrambling, you want to pick the guy that's number 1 in sand saves and top 10 in getting the ball up and down. Rickie Fowler's got that, and I think Rickie Fowler is going to get his first WGC come Sunday.
That'd be his 2nd win this season. That's the Comcast Business Edge. Less than 10 miles from St. Andrews lies Kingsbarn Golf Links, host of this week's Rico Women's British Open for the first time in its history. 2 biggest storylines this week. 1, it's the 4th major championship of the LPGA season, and 2, the Solheim Cup teams finalized this coming Sunday. Cara Robinson joins us from a windy Kingsbarns.
Thanks, George. Well, the best players are in good spirits on this eve of the Rico Women's British Open, including Lydia Ko. Despite missing the cut last weekend in the Ladies Scottish Open, she's still searching for her first win this season and hasn't top 10'd in any of the major championships so far in 2017. Meanwhile, Lexi Thompson chose to spend the week at home in Florida with family last week. She, though, could have a home advantage. Caddy Kevin McAlpine used to work here at Kingsbarns Golf Links for a few years, so she's got an advantage with him on the bag, and she woke up on Monday morning at a career high, world number 2.
My dad texted me, he's like, oh, just so you know, you went to 2. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't really pay attention to rankings, but, you know, obviously my goal is to be number 1, but that's what everybody's goal is. But I'm just out here just trying to do my best every time I tee it up, and that's all I can do, just put in the work and see where it goes.
I'm trying to put myself in better positions going forward. I feel like I've had some really solid finishes. I had my best finish in Hawaii, and that week I felt like I was struggling a little bit with my ball striking, but the putter really helped me. And to me, I just got to put all those pieces together, and I feel like they're there. And obviously, it takes a little bit of more work to maintain and polish it all up to bring it. But I just got to stay positive. And sometimes you feel like the things are there, but it just doesn't go your way. And I think the big thing is for me is to just keep my head high and look forward and trot away.
Well, for more on some of the storylines we're watching this week, we can now welcome in the senior writer from GolfChannel.com, Randall Mell. And Randall, one of the big names, Anna Nordqvist, is got a little bit of a question mark, I suppose, around her form, really because of her health. Can you update us on that, and then how that might affect her place in the Solheim Cup team?
Yes, Cara, I walked the Pro-Am with Anna yesterday, and she told me that she was diagnosed with glandular fever, also known as mononucleosis, and she had been on bed rest for 2 weeks before coming here. She was diagnosed on the Sunday of the U.S. Women's Open, so seriously challenged to try to win this thing and then get herself ready for the Solheim Cup, and she's a very vital part of the Solheim Cup, and it's complicated because of her illness. She had to withdraw from the Scottish Ladies Championship, which meant that she will not meet the minimum requirement for the Ladies European Tour starts to be able to make it on the team for points or world rankings, so she will have to be a Solheim Cup captain's pick. So, you know, a lot of questions with Anna there, but she did say that she was feeling a little bit better, but that's a tricky malady.
It really is, and there are a lot of names currently sitting outside of that European Solheim Cup team. Let's turn our attention to this week's defending champion, and that is Erja Jutanjagan. She's had some health concerns of her own, missed cuts in the last two majors. She had to withdraw. What is the state of play with her right shoulder?
Yeah, the defending champion faces her own challenges. Her right shoulder, surgically repaired right shoulder, has started bothering her again, and it's just been a head-spinning couple of months for Erja. She had that false start kind of thing at the world #1 where the world ranking projection misfired. It projected her to be #1, and then turned out she really wasn't #1, so it was kind of confusing letdown. Then the next week she wins Manulife and goes to #1. Then her shoulder starts bothering her. She missed back-to-back cuts in major championships, shoots some really high numbers, and arrives here with a cough and a cold. So she faces her own challenges in defending.
So she may not be your pick to successfully defend this week, but who is your pick to keep an eye on to win this major?
You know what? I like world #1 So-Yeon Yu. For #1, she flies in under the radar too much. But So-Yeon, the reason I like her is that she overhauled her swing with Cameron McCormick before the 2016 season, and she was a high ball hitter. And one of the things they worked on was her controlling her trajectories. Overall, she has a lower ball flight, but really she said the thing she likes with Cameron is the way they worked on creating shots, changing her ball flight, her trajectory, hitting it left, hitting it right, which is really the kind of skills that are perfect for holding your ball against the wind and controlling your ball in the situation and the wind and rain that we will get here.
So you're saying Cameron McCormick could do the double after Jordan Spieth lifted the claret jug 2 weeks ago? Another student of his could be triumphant here.
It's been a great year for Cameron McCormick.
It has indeed. We'll have to see what kind of a week it is for So-Yeon Yu and indeed all the players in the field here at the Ricoh Women's British Open. George?
Was expecting Randall to tough it out. He's from Wisconsin, wearing the ski cap. All right, past 24 major champions, including Lydia Ko, Lexi Thompson, Michelle Wie, headlining the field, but only one can seize their major moment in the Ricoh Women's British Open. Coverage begins tomorrow at 6 a.m. on Golf Channel, continuing Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern, over on NBC. We know what Jordan Spieth has already accomplished at such an early age. Coming up next, how high is Spieth's ceiling when it comes to the greats of the game? We look ahead to his future. Plus, what are the pros saying about Steph Curry's game ahead of his Web.com tour debut in the Bay Area? That's next. This is Golf Central.